Hello, lovely people. I'm Beliee from Little Wisdom. Welcome back. Today, we will talk about the law of role-playing, see through people's masks. In this lecture, we will discuss about why people wear masks, how to observe people to collect valuable nonverbal cues, the difficult and common errors in interpreting these cues. If you have followed our courses, appearance bias should not be a new term for you. We have mentioned that in the law of irrationality when we discuss about the 6 mental biases, and also in the law of narcissism when we came to empathetic attitude. If you haven't watched that tutorials yet, or you cannot remember clearly what appearance bias is anymore, I highly recommend you to make a review on that part. You can find the link at upper right corner. I'm going to make a very brief explanation here. Shortly speaking, appearance bias means that we humans tend to think that other people are generally easy to read through, and their thoughts and actions are predictable. But the reality is, we often just see people's masks wearing for certain purposes. In this lecture, we will look at the topic in another way around. Why people wear masks, then figure out how to see through their masks. Have you ever seen babies and children? They put on certain looks to create sympathy and affection, because they want to get something from the parent or other adults. Did you ever meet any classmates in your school? They flattered the teacher to get more attention and privilege. Have you ever tried your best to create a professional front in a job interview, because you wanted to be hired? Have you ever wondered why bankers have to behave like this, and doctors are like this, and artists should be like this? It's nothing wrong or bad to behave in a certain way for a specific situation or position. It's simply our nature. We humans are all actors well packed with acting skills. Well, maybe not as funny as him. We picked up the vital skills since we were babies, and we constantly sharpen the skills as growing up. All of us are wearing masks, but not aware of it. We are acting, mask-wearing, role-playing, whatever you call it, because it is essential for smoothing social functioning, and through it, we can get what we want from people easier. I know it sounds a bit cruel, but it's so true, isn't it? Some of you might want to say, I do not act, I simply show the world who I am directly. We humans love to imagine we are almost always sincere in social encounters. But the reality is, we subtly change what we say, tone of voice, mannerism, body language, to suit each individual and situation. From the perspective of actors, to smooth social life and protect us in vulnerable moments, we need to perform in order to conceal our real feelings and thoughts from others. At the same time, we also have a continued desire to communicate our true feelings. Therefore, we are secretly tired of acting and performing. We consider it as a burden. It seems like we don't want to act, but there is an invisible force making us to do it. We are struggling between the desire for real feelings expression and the need to act. As a result, we cannot completely control what we communicate. The true feelings continually link out in the form of gestures, tones of voice, facial expressions, and postures. From the perspective of observers, we humans are prone to think ourselves and other people are honest and direct. We don't want to think that we are always performing. Therefore, we naturally ignore many nonverbal signals of people, and we are not trained to pay attention to them. You can imagine that we treat ourselves and others like tablets, only fixate on the words people say, while also thinking about what we will say next. Imagine how cool that will be, if one day you can see through people's tight smile, pick up the flashes of irritation crossing their face, capture their signs of subtle discomfort in your presence. Then you can politely disengage from the interaction with them and save your time and mental energy. Next, let's have a look at some practical observation skills to collect nonverbal cues. When we were children, we were almost all great observers of people, because our survival depended on decoding people's nonverbal communication. However, from 5 years old, this sensitivity is lost as we start to turn inward, become more concerned with how others see us. So, you see, the observation skills are not completely new. What we are doing here is simply reversing the process of self-absorption and regaining the outward-directed view and curiosity. We will talk about how to develop observation skills from the following 2 aspects: behaviors, methods. Let's start from behaviors, how you should behave during conversations to sharpen your observation skills. First of all, be relaxed and open. Only when you are relaxed, the other can feel your overall emotional state and then also feel relaxed to open themselves. Be engaged in the conversations while talking less, but try to get others to talk more. Who do you think has control over a conversation? The one who keeps talking and talking? No, it's the one who listens more. Because the one who listens can collect more verbal and nonverbal information from the talking one, capture his moods, read his mind. While the one who talks all the time usually only focuses on his own thoughts and loses the chance to get ideas about what the listening one is thinking and feeling. Hopefully, this is not you, who simply sit there, keep silent, and stare at others searching for nonverbal cues and decoding the cues. That looks so weird, trust me. Not too obvious. Avoid too much direct eye contact. Be natural and attentive. At selected moments, you can also try to mirror other people and to make proper comments on what they have said. That reveals you are listening carefully and full of curiosity of their topics. Then they will be more relaxed, talk more, and therefore show more nonverbal cues. Next, let's have a look at some simple method to improve your observation skills. Rome was not built in one day. You must be patient with yourself and the process. The journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. To start, you need to take baby steps. Set mini goals, keep exercises, see small but daily process. For example, you can begin with a simple goal of a casual conversation, observing 1 or 2 facial expressions that seem to go against what people are saying or indicating additional information. One thing must be mentioned here is, at this step, you are an objective observer. Just pay attention to those nonverbal cues. Remember what you see, not yet decode their meanings. Be natural with what you observed. With a clear goal and a neutral mindset, you can start to observe now. Firstly, focus on people's face. For example, try to see if people frown, purse lips, or show forced smile. Be attentive to micro-expressions, which usually last less than 1 second, such as quick flashes of tension on face. When you feel confident in observing people's facial expression, you can give more attention to the voice. Try to hear the changes in pitch and pace of talking when people are talking about different topics. Afterwards, you can try to start to observe the body language, the posture, hand gestures, positioning of legs, and so on. Mixed signals means people's nonverbal and verbal communications are opposite. Pay great attention to the mixed signals, especially the signals link out negative emotions. For example, people may congratulate on your promotion, but their smile is forced and the whole facial expression seems sad. After the conversation, write down all your observations. I know you cannot remember so much information at one time, but you can try your best to recall some important details. You just need to reach your mini goal. Don't let yourself overwhelmed. With several conversations with a person, you are able to establish base expression and mood for him or her. This is very important and helpful for you to notice their changes in mood with keen sense of sensitivity. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, here is an interesting exercise. You can observe people in a cafe who you don't know at all. You don't need to be involved in a conversation. Simply sit there, collect vocal cues, watch people's walking style, overall body language. Then you can guess their professions, personalities, and relationships with the people around them. Another interesting exercise is to observe yourself. When do you make fake smile, and why do you do that? What does your voice sound like when you feel nervous? When do you frown and cross your arms? Why that? Through this exercise, you will become more sensitive to others' nonverbal communication and gain greater control of your own behaviors. It takes time and efforts to regain the observation skills, but it's not too difficult. The real difficult in seeing through people's masks is that nonverbal cues are much more ambiguous and indirect. No dictionary to tell what this and that means. It depends on the individual and context. Besides, we tend to collect signs and quickly interpret them to fit our own emotional biases about people. This is called confirmation bias. We talked about it in the law of irrationality. For example, there is a person who you naturally hate, or he reminds you of your unpleasant past. You tend to see almost any cues of him as unfriendly and hostile. This is also similar to Othello's error. We pick up certain emotional cues from a person, assume they come from a certain source, then rush to the first explanation that fits what we want to see. The solution for this error or bias is to subtract personal preferences and prejudices on people. Another common error in interpret nonverbal signals is display rule. This means people from different cultures will consider different forms of behavior acceptable. Therefore, we must consider cultural background of people and interpret their cues accordingly. As you can see, the hardest part is to interpret nonverbal cues correctly, because they are very ambiguous, and we humans tend to be blinded by mental biases and forget the influence of culture. In the next lecture, we will focus on how to decode nonverbal communication and how to manage your own nonverbal impression. Keep learning, keep improving. At our channel Little Wisdom, you can find professional psychology tutorials with interesting explanation. If you have any questions or you would like to give us some feedback about our course, you are very welcome to leave comments below. Your opinions are very important for us. Thank you so much for your watching. If you enjoyed the lecture today, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe our channel. We would love that you click the subscribe button to help our content to rise to the top. In that way, you can help more people get the chance to improve their life. Again, thank you so much for your valuable time and efforts dedicated for your mental health. I am Beliee from Little Wisdom. Wish you have a wonderful day and see you next time.